What is up, you guys? It is your boy John here from Puma Plow. Welcome back to another On the Farm on another warm and sunny, well, kind of partly cloudy, not too bad, day here on the farm. Today, guys, I'm on the Case 995. I'm gonna mow the highway again. I'm gonna show you guys just a little bit of that, not too much. But what I'm really doing today is testing out the hydraulic top link on the tractor. This will be the first time really using it today. I have to say, hooking up to the mower was fantastic using it. Driving out here though, it is bleeding down a little bit. I kind of think I might have some air in the system still, which is not a big deal to me. I can feel it sinking right now. Or we have problems with our hydraulics and we don't know it. I'm hoping that it's just air. But you can definitely, I can feel it sinking down right now. So I'm gonna get to work. I'm also gonna mow along this cornfield right here. This is right along our lane. I'm gonna mow along that as well. Probably mow one row of corn stalks down because the field has been harvested and I don't like all those weeds. So let's get to it.
What is up, you guys? John, the voiceover guy. We're switching into voiceover mode because, well, I didn't talk to the camera the rest of the day. Hence, you know, it was loud and tractor noises and stuff. So I said in my little thing there that I thought it was air in the hydraulic system. It definitely is not. We either have a problem with the cylinder or a problem with the valve on the actual tractor. The last time this valve on this tractor was used was sometime around or before 1996, because Grandpa retired in 95. He had auction in 96. So there's that. It's probably the tractor, or it could be we're just overloading it. So Dad told me before I went out to the highway, he's like, hey, make sure you check your fuel. Well, I didn't check my fuel before I went to the highway, so thank goodness I have Grandpa's patented measuring stick here. The dipstick. I've got like 4.5, 5 inches of fuel. It should be plenty. Should be plenty for the day. Actually meant to check it when I got done and I totally forgot. The fuel gauge on this tractor does not work because it just hasn't in a long time, and apparently it's like either really expensive or we can't get the part or something, so we just went, dipstick it, it's fine. We only burn through maybe in a year, when we use this thing a lot, maybe 15 to 20 gallons of diesel a year. Like, we don't use this tractor very much in a year. This is the third time this tractor's out of the shed this year, and normally it's out a little bit more than this, but with everything with Mom this year, it just hasn't been out of the shed. If you guys noticed there, I reached up to the dashboard just a second ago, made sure all my lights were on, and my hazards were also flashing as well. The lights are over on the right side, the hazards are right in the center, so we wanted to make sure all that was good to go. Somebody just messaged me in TeamSpeak. Where did they message me? Because I did. Oh, okay. That was what that little ding was. I'm sure you guys heard that. Anyway, it's all good. I shouldn't be in TeamSpeak while recording this, but I'm in the Minecraft server, so I need to be. Anyway, guys, mowing the highway again, and this is kind of the time before the last, probably. I'll only be mowing the highway one more time. I know I said I wasn't going to film mowing the highway again, but since I'm using this hydraulic top link this time, I really wanted to film that. I don't know if you could tell when we were hooking up to it in the combine shed there, or the shed that we call the combine shed. Obviously there's no combine on the farm anymore, but that's where Grandpa used to keep it, so we just call it the combine shed. It was fantastic for hooking up to this thing. Some of the other uses, and it's really going to shine with the disc, with our blade. Really, the disc is the one that I'm looking forward to probably the most. Yeah, that's what I think I'm looking forward to the most. Another one is our 3-point hitch harrow that we haven't got back to that project, but one of these days we will. So while I was mowing, you can tell that telephone pole there was trimmed around. Dad was actually jumping from telephone pole to telephone pole in his white truck. He would drive, pull in the ditch, get out, trim around it, get back in the truck, drive to the next one, pull off in the ditch. So it worked out, and half the reason we're doing this is to get ready for Pumpkin Day, our pumpkin party coming up at the end of October. We like the highway to look nice because it's like the first thing of what quote unquote our farm people see. Plus it's just our little part that we can do to make the world a better place. You can see Dad trimmed all around that pole as well. Dad was doing quite a big circle, so I didn't have to get anywhere near the telephone pole and didn't have to take a lot of time to get close to telephone poles. I am going to drive right here in the farmers' fields. They did work this field one time, however, you can tell by the dust it's really dry, and I know they're going to work this field again, especially those particular guys. Nothing wrong with what they do, they just work dirt a lot, which is fine and dandy. The hydraulic top link came in handy here, by the way, even though it was bleeding out the whole time, which really for mowing, once you get mowing, the tail wheel's on the ground, that holds all the weight off the top link anyway. But what I could do, what the top link allowed me to do, was when I would go around the telephone pole, if I had to back up and get any more down in the ditch, I would actually reach down and let that top link out all the way, changing the angle, pitching the more, putting the tail wheel down in the ditch, and I was able to mow everything. It actually worked out quite well. I used it a lot more this day than I thought I was going to, but it's unfortunate that it doesn't hold the weight of that mower. Some people like to say that that mower is too much for this tractor. I mean, I don't think it is. We're talking about a 65 horse tractor or so, you know, somewhere in there. And I don't think it's too much for this tractor. I've put down some stuff with that particular mower. I mean, I'm not mowing brush, I'm not mowing trees, but I've put down some 7-8 foot tall weeds before, and I'm talking like a lot of them. Out between two fields a couple years ago, I went and I mowed. I mean, they had to be every bit of 8 foot tall. I couldn't see where I was driving. I mean, I knew where I was driving, but I couldn't see where I was driving, if that makes sense. So right there is what I'm talking about by using the top link. Watch this right here. So I'm going to back up, and that's down in the ditch, right? So I reach down here, let the top link out, lowering the mower, back up a little bit, pull up a little bit here in just a second, and then, you know, my hand's right there on that top link control, bring it right back up. She's a little snappy in the like raising it up. That top link is a little snappy. Plus, I have actually personally never used the hydraulic hookups on this tractor. I've never used them. So we don't have anything at the farm that we can actually put a cylinder on and run. So I personally have never used them. Of course, they have been used on this tractor, but like I said, Grandpa retired in 95, kind of like spring-ish, before the flood of 95, he retired, and then had auction in 96. So it's been a while since anything's been hooked up to this tractor as far as the hydraulics. So it was kind of a thing. I normally cannot mow this side of the ditch, or I normally don't mow this side of the ditch. Not saying I couldn't. I don't like how steep this ditch gets at spots out here. I know I'm not going to roll this tractor. The rear tires are fluid filled with the calcium solution. This tractor is kind of heavy for what it is. Plus you got that loader hanging there and whatnot. But, you know, I still don't like it. So I did go ahead and mow along the cornfield. That's actually my dad's cousin's ground. My buddy Zach, his family farms that ground. And the weeds just kind of bug me, like I was saying before. And you guys can also tell the soybeans. The soybeans are darn near ready. It won't be long. And if you notice in the very first clip of the video where I'm driving back to the combine shed, all the corn's gone. There is pretty much no corn left on the farm, or in the farmland, I should say. The farm definitely is cleaned off, but just in the area, there's very little corn left. I am going to mow along the road here twice because it's crabgrass, and crabgrass is hard to mow. Now, we do have cooler weather coming, so crabgrass won't be a thing anymore, which I'm very hopeful for very soon. So now, guys, we're all done. We've mowed basically to the field on both sides of the road. There's one spot that I didn't mow on what would be my right now across the road from where I'm at, and it's just because it's very, very steep. I'll probably end up going out there with a string trimmer or something. Dad said he would mow it with the 995. Whatever, more power to him if he wants to do it. That's fine by me. Yeah, I just don't like how steep it is. I'm not gonna lie. So what I'm doing right here, guys, is I'm actually waiting to drive up on the road because I didn't feel like driving, you know, 3/4 of a mile, something like that. 2 quarters? No, words are hard. I didn't feel like driving that far in the ditch. I was trying to like go and get some speed to me, you know. So I am going to drive on the road here. If I was going to do a lot of road travel with this tractor, which I'm not, a mirror would be a fantastic addition. I've always wanted a mirror on that right side anyway. for when we do our hay rides for the pumpkin party. But you can see I do look behind me quite often to know if traffic's coming. If I need to, you know, dive down in the ditch real fast to get out of their way, because people are stupid and don't know how to drive around a tractor. But that's another story. Look at those soybeans, boys and girls. Because of the top link letting itself out the whole time, I just ran the mower down and just, you know, trailed it behind me, whatever. Not a big deal. So now, guys, I've actually picked up Dad from the farm, and we are out in the back 80, basically, is what we call this. This would be the back of the farm. It was 80-acre field. The front of the farm was a 100-acre field. So this is kind of where the two fields would meet. This is where our telephone poles are. I shouldn't say telephone poles, electric poles. There's no telephone lines on these poles. We do have telephone to the farm, but it comes in underground on the other side. That's another story for another video. But right here, guys, this is our utility poles, power poles, whatever you want to call them. This is how we get our electricity at the farm. These poles were put in shortly after World War II. And my grandpa and some of the other farmers in the area actually went and got them from a site where they were replacing poles. And these were the poles that they were replacing. So they were used at the time. Okay? Used at the time. And they were put here on the farm shortly after World War II. So if that tells you how old these telephone poles are, the things are ancient. They've replaced 2 of them now. The one right at the farm, and then there's one down by the corner. Those are the only ones that have been replaced. We are the only customers on this run for probably a pretty good ways. It's like a mile or so, I would say, of power line that we're the only ones on it. So we take it upon ourselves to go out and maintain around these poles. Technically, is this our ground that we're driving on? No, this is what used to be the farm. Dad and his siblings sold it, but we just, I don't know, we feel responsible to go clean up around these poles. So Dad's on the string trimmer, I'm on the tractor. Before anybody says anything like, oh, you're making your dad do the hard work. No, because he insisted that he would do that and that I should drive the tractor. His neck doesn't like to bend backwards to look behind you as you're backing up around these poles. So he just prefers to do the trimming part. Yes, that's the hard part. Yeah, it's the worst part, but that's the part Dad wanted to do, so I shut up and let Dad do it, kind of thing. You know, I offered and flagged. I'm like, I will do it. I told him, I'm like, no, let me do the trimming. He said no. So, or anybody says anything, I know it looks bad that I'm just sitting on the tractor as he's doing the string trimming. I know it looks bad, but I'm getting really defensive about this, aren't I? I swear, next time I'll get him on camera saying, no, you just drive the tractor. Because we've got more telephone poles to clean around. In fact, there's 2. No, okay, so it goes down between 2 fields, and then it turns dead left. And then it goes down between 2 fields and turns dead right. And then it goes down some more, and it turns kind of left and then right real fast. We maintain all of that. And sometimes we go a little bit farther over to like the next farm. This spot's really bad. This is corner number 2, we'll call it. I didn't even drive to corner 3 and 4 because there's crop kind of around them still. So after soybean harvest, we will get down here and we'll clean this up. It's gonna be a nightmare to clean up those spots, by the way. Some of them are really bad. Some of them are really, really bad. But if we do this once a year, it's not that bad. Yeah, it's going to take us a little bit of time, but we can actually like mow the stuff down with the tractor or a string trimmer, or Dad's using a machete to chop some of the bigger stuff. But instead of having to get out chainsaws and sawzalls and stuff like that, we can just, you know, mow it with the tractor. It's so much easier to maintain it than it is to try to clean it all up at once every 5 years or something. So that's why we do it every year. We will be cleaning more telephone poles this winter. I will bring you guys along and show you some hidden little gems along the way that will break things. They're not gems at all. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. And as always, toodles.